and every day we become more aware of what he really is. He was finally facing the consequences of his actions. Sunak predicted with amazing accuracy all the dastardly actions of Starmer that could have befallen us when the Labour Party came to power. We start watching the first scene. UK inflation fell to 1.7% on year, the lowest level since April 2021. Analysts had expected the figures to remain at 1.9% at the end of the first month of autumn. The main factor in this decline was the fall in prices for air tickets and gasoline. More than 7 million Britons in early 2024 were experiencing serious difficulties paying for utilities and repaying loans. It is especially difficult for the most vulnerable segments of the population: single parents with children, representatives of ethnic minorities, residents of the northeast of England, and tenants of housing. He criticized for his narrow-mindedness when he refused to use the services of private medical institutions. This is especially surprising because most of even his supporters from the Labour Party would most likely have acted differently. In addition, the three largest Labour-supporting unions Unite, Unison and GMB offer private health insurance to their members. For example, Unison provides an additional medical plan that covers the cost of important things such as visits to the dentist and optometrist, as well as helps with paying for specialist consultations. Unite, in turn, returns the money for diagnostic consultations. Considering all this, I have serious doubts that Starmer really refuses these tempting offers given how much he likes free buys. Today, most pensioners are forced to suffer from income tax. The official statistics are shocking. Over the past 3 years, the number of pensioners who have become taxpayers has increased by 2 million. The increase in the state pension, combined with frozen tax thresholds, has led to the fact that even those with only modest private pensions or meager incomes are now forced to pay taxes. This threshold freeze has not just increased the tax burden, it has brought it down on low and middle income workers, as well as retirees who are already barely making ends meet. The government, using such a fiscal policy, was able to raise an additional £40 billion per year. This measure turned out to be so beneficial that the authorities decided to freeze the thresholds until 2028. But this approach only worsens the situation of low and middle income citizens. People are starting to save on everything from groceries to necessary purchases, which leads to a drop in business incomes and general economic decline. The increase in the tax burden primarily falls on the shoulders of those who are already experiencing difficulties, which only increases economic inequality in our society. As for Liz Truss, her reign has been a disaster. She resigned after the failure of her fiscal policy related to tax cuts, and her term in office lasted only 44 days. This is not just a year ago, hospitals in England were on the verge of collapse when doctors went on strike for 48 hours due to a protracted dispute over salaries. Thousands of doctors were forced to limit themselves to providing emergency care, while the National Health Service sounded the alarm, warning of catastrophic failures in patient admission. Doctors have been demanding higher salaries amid the growing cost of living crisis in the UK, which has been ruthlessly weighing on their budgets. The government, however, brushed off their requests, saying that salary negotiations were over, and offered only a 6% increase for senior doctors. This proposal was a real blow to doctors, who found it offensive because over the past 14 years their incomes have decreased by 35%. Such disregard for their work and efforts was the last straw. We have witnessed mass layoffs when doctors and other workers began to leave their posts in protest at the unbearable working conditions. Over the past year, millions of people, including train and bus drivers as well as teachers across the UK, have decided to take the bold step of resigning to protest against the authorities' refusal to adequately assess their work and bring salaries in line with the reality of rising prices. Starmer said he would not continue with the allegedly hopeless plan of the previous Conservative government to deport illegal migrants to Rwanda. He believes that this scheme was doomed to failure even before it appeared and could never become a real deterrent. Starmer is not ready to waste time and resources on methods that, in his opinion, do not work and only aggravate the situation. Illegal migrants dream of refugee status, which opens the door to benefits and social programs for them. While the country's authorities spend millions of pounds every day to accommodate refugees in hotels, Starmer bitterly states that this plan is a complete failure. He is divorced after border guards discovered a migrant hiding in a trailer attached to his mobile home. The man was returning to the UK with his wife when the French authorities made this shocking discovery. The couple was not even aware of the migrant's presence and was ready to board the ferry to return home. The migrant turned out to be from Sudan. The man stated that he was not going to pay this unfair fine for anything and appealed. He doesn't want to be punished for something he didn't do. What do you think about this video? Write your opinion in the comments. See you later.